You know, one thing I really love about video games? No matter what happens, at the end of the day, it's on you, the player, right? So you're fighting a boss and you're down to your last bit of health and they're down to their last bit of health. But your finger slipped or you're cramped up or you mistimed a block or a dodge and you get killed and you have to start all the way over. That's frustrating. I know that experience. If you ever played a Soulsborne game, you know that experience too. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's on you. You messed up. So you messed up, so you deal with the consequence. That's the beautiful part about video games. Unfortunately, that does not extend to those who make video games. In a not too uncommon occurrence, another round of layoffs have hit the tech industry, particularly the video game side. This time, it's from Riot. Over 530 employees globally, which is roughly about 11% of the whole workforce, is going to be laid off. And the reasoning for this, I want you guys to read this, okay? So we're going to go to this article. It's from Video Game Chronicles, and we're going to read this together because it's, oh man. All right, so here we have, like I said, Video Game Chronicles. Riot confirms 530 layoffs. This isn't to appease shareholders, it's necessary. Okay. So, in the latest statement, yeah, that's what I talk about here. Here we go. This part right here. For most of our history, we've managed to avoid days like this. But this decision is critical for the future of Riot. The company said in a statement, this isn't to appease shareholders or to hit a quarterly earnings number, it is a necessity. Over the past few years, as Riot more than doubled in headcount, we spread our efforts across more and more projects without sharp enough razors to decide what players needed most. The adjustments we're making aim to focus us on the areas that have the greatest impact on your experience while reducing investment on things that don't. As part of the changes, Riot said it will focus on internal development and supporting League of Legends, Valorant, Teamfight Tactics, and Wild Rift. Legends of Runeterra, the collectible card game was in 2020, will see its team and scope downsized due to financial challenges since launch. And see, what's sticking with me, what's really getting to me is the whole projects without sharp enough razors to decide what players needed most. That sounds like a failure in management, right? Like if I was talking and I had a group and I said, hey, I have to let you guys go. I made a bunch of bad business decisions without really thinking what the consumer wanted and no one bought it. So bye-bye. Like that's what I hate the most. And it's not just with video game companies, it's with the company as a whole, but this is a video gaming channel and I will keep my very, very well-known anti-capitalist corporations beliefs separate. But every time there is a miscalculation, it is always the developers who suffer for it. It's never the CEOs or the executives. No one managing the project is let go, but the people who worked on the project do. And for a company to effectively admit that they didn't know what they were doing and they were kind of just letting shit happen is a bit disconcerting, I would say. Like, why isn't the CEO just taking a pay cut? This is something we've seen before in Nintendo, right? And maybe Japanese companies have a little bit more empathy for their employees. I'm not saying that knowing the Japanese work culture is hell, but considering the fact that they are at least willing to take a pay cut, whereas here they're willing to cut 500 employees because someone on the upper chain didn't know how to or what their consumers wanted. That's insane. And again, this isn't even the only company that's gotten hit by this. If you guys are paying attention in the last year, there was upwards of, I think, like 9,000 layoffs for employees. Like that's crazy. Maybe these game companies need to stop thinking about the infinite wealth they can generate and start, having enough razors to decide what players need most. And the most infuriating part about this too is the CEOs, the executives will get a parachute. Look what happened to Activision, Bobby Kotick, right? Everyone hates that guy. Leaves with like what, $30 million, was making like $20 million a year, which is making money hand over fist, regardless of the type of quality that was coming out, regardless of the conditions in which workers have to work under, regardless of all the sexual allegations. Totally fine. Riot, we'll just get rid of 530 people, no big deal. It's a necessity. We're not trying to, and think it's like, we're not trying to appease shareholders. I honestly wish you were, because then at least I could just say, oh, it's corporate greed. But this was just mismanagement. You just didn't know what your audience want, apparently. I'm like, but a couple of bad investments, so bye-bye 500 employees. Hope you get work somewhere else. If you don't, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Like, I honestly, man, I truly have such respect for video game developers, because at any moment after you finish a game, or if you get lucky enough to finish a game, you can just be let go. There's no guarantee for work. There's no nothing. It's just boop, gone. Meanwhile, you have people who literally are admitting that they don't know how to run a company or at least manage a project, are releasing statements, and they're making 10, 20 times your salary. That's frustrating, man. That's real frustrating. And again, this isn't even the first layoff of January. Yahoo Tech has an article up that details all the layers that have happened thus far in 2024. Mind you, we are 23 days into 2024. It is just disheartening, man. Like, it's, I want to end this on a somewhat positive note, but I don't know. I mean, well, oh, I said Infinite Wealth. Yeah, that comes out in 3 days, so that'll be good. And Power World's doing 6, but actually, no, Power World's kind of controversial. So, Like a Dragon, that's coming out. Tekken 8's getting good previews. That's nice. Does that make up for the fact that we seem to be living in a world where increasingly higher budgets for video games are making it so that video game companies, if they don't make like $1 billion, are just gonna lay off their staff? Does that help? Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.